Hello everyone, welcome back to Archangel RC. Now, as much as the title of the video looks a bit clickbaity, it is actually not. In fact, I came this close to literally losing an $11,000 drone, and it was going to happen live on a YouTube stream. You might think I am overstating the cost of the drone, but let me assure you I am not, which was a surprise to me as well. The drone in question is my MFE Hero Vito, and let's break down the price so you'd have an idea exactly why it costs this much. So the plane itself in Vito form, plug-and-play set. This includes Vito and pusher motors, ESCs, props, servos, some wiring and power distribution boards. Delivered and imported would be around $2,250. The Uni RC10 Pro Air unit is $620 on its own. The CN7 flight controller set with power module and GPS would be about $400 delivered and imported. I also have a fixed CR1M camera in the nose of the plane, which is around $55, a CUAV Sky2 Nano airspeed sensor for $150, the Vito battery, which was around $40, the main flight battery, which in my case cost me around $200, but it was DIY. If it was store-bought, it would be at least $600 to $700. The Avatar GT2 and Walksnail GM3 gimbal on the belly of the plane are a combined $390. The additional power sensor for the Vito side was around $20, and I would assume another $40 for cables and connectors. Since I have two GPS units in this plane, the second one is the CF9P RTK module, and that is another $410. If the plane had the CZR10 gimbal on it, which is around $700 delivered and imported, that would have brought the total to roughly $5,675, which, even though lower than $11,000, is still a bloody serious chunk of change. However, for the past 6 months, I have been exclusively flying the Hero with the Reebot MT11 gimbal on it, because it is just so good with the zoom and its improved recorded image quality compared to the ZR10, and the thermal camera and AI tracking and so on. And that would set you back roughly at least another $6,200. So this gimbal alone costs more than the whole MFE Hero in Vito configuration with everything currently on it. Swapping the ZR10 for the MT11 brings our new total to roughly $11,175, and let me tell you, this is a heart attack inducing number. Up until this moment, I have never really thought about how much this plane costs and what has gone in it. And this is the amount of money that would have been needed to replace everything if something happens, and it is a total write-off. And something almost happened. The people who attended my live stream on the 21st of June 2026 might remember what happened. I was just about to take off to test an optical fiber HDMI cable with the Uni RC10 Pro system to see if that will cause interference with the radio signal in the same way as a regular HDMI cable does. I was also going to test the 6S 30,000 mAh battery pack from my MFE Fighter on the Hero to see how it will do on 6S, down from 8S, and everything was powered up, live stream was happening. I was minutes from taking flight when the video coming from the plane froze. This was weird and had never happened before. At first I thought something had gone wrong with the Uni RC10 Air module, as it was dead, but I then noticed that the Avatar GT2 was also silent, fan and picture were gone, and the MT11 gimbal was not operational. This was actually a relief because it meant the power supply for all of these must have failed, since I powered all of them from the same 12-volt regulator. Problem was, there was no way to do the flight as I did not have a spare regulator, nor did I have the tools to pull the plane apart and redo wiring so I can power all of this directly from the battery. I needed the regulator for the 8S battery since, with the exception of the Uni RC10 Air unit, none of the other gear could work at that voltage. While the live stream was going and I was just talking it out with the people in chat, I thought it would have been cool if this had happened in the air. as all video and telemetry would have been lost, but the plane would still come back to home point and land, as RTL with landing in VTOL mode has been tested many times. But at that moment it dawned on me, the same regulator which provides the 12 volts for all of the gear that wasn't working now, also provides the 5 volts for the servos, and in fact when I checked, servos weren't working as well. This meant that had the plane taken flight and had this happened in the air, without servos the plane would have lost the link and it would have crashed somewhere, literally destroying over $11,000 worth of gear, probably also in a ball of flame, and I would have had no idea where to go look for it. I wouldn't have known what had happened, I would have waited for it, and after it never comes back, would have had to swallow the loss and gone home. Just listen to the section of the live stream when that realization dawned on me. Actually, if I can really forego a 12-volt regulator on this plane, I would just remove it and wire everything directly to the battery, which would simplify things and hopefully make it a lot more reliable. So maybe this will be back in the air very soon. I'm really sorry for today. You know, having a failed voltage regulator wasn't part of the plan. It would have been interesting if this had happened while flying, because, you know, spectacle. You guys would have loved it. Probably a couple of you would have been in panic. Oh yeah, not fun because the servos would have died. Well, crap. Yeah, so, oh, that would have been an expensive loss. Ouch. Yeah, now that I think about it, oh, damn. That would have been so expensive. I mean, the gimbal alone is $6,000. Holy crap. Well, so, yes, I am glad this happened on the ground, and you should be too, because otherwise there'll be no more videos from the MFE Hero. Yeah, would have been so cool to lose an $11,000 drone live on a stream. So very cool. Now that would have been a true test of my otherwise calm demeanor and attitude towards such situations. Just imagine that, literally seconds from disaster. But it gets even more interesting. Once I made it back to the workshop, I opened up the plane to take the regulator out and see what had happened. To my surprise, the regulator was actually working. It seemed perfectly fine actually, but what I had forgotten was that I had installed an LC filter just before it, so it can filter the power supply for the rest of the electronics. In the days of old, during the ancient analog times, before the modern day VTX, we had to use these because it was a struggle if you wanted to have a hint of a clean video signal that would not get interference from moving servos or running motors. Well, guess what? Turns out it was the LC filter that had failed, not the regulator. When I dug a little deeper into this, it turned out the MOSFET that is on the LC filter can only handle up to 1 amp of current, and even that is doubtful. This literally caused my hair to stand up. Turns out I was hovering around disaster for a very long time, and it turns out I should not have installed the LC filter at all. But I guess old habits do not die easily. While the plane was on 8S, the power going through the LC filter for gimbal, UniRC air units, servos, and as of recent the Avatar GT2 and GM3 gimbal had sufficiently high voltage as to cause the current going through the filter to be small enough not to overload it and cause it to fail. However, going down to a 6S battery now brought the voltage roughly 8 volts lower at the start of the flight, and it took perhaps 15 or 20 minutes of idle 6S currents with no servos actually moving and the GT2 in standby mode for it to fail. This realization is quite scary. It is terrifying because at the low end, a lithium-ion 8S battery would be at 24 volts. When this failed from just sitting there, it failed at over 24 volts on a fully charged 6S battery pack. Just think about this. What has spared the plane in the last couple of flights, since I installed the GT2 and wired it into the system, has been the fact that I had not pushed the battery too low so as to overload the LC filter as the current went up. Just think about how close I have been to total disaster for as long as the GT2 has been on the plane. I would assume there would have been no issues without it there, as it probably at least doubled what was already being consumed by the rest of the gear. I feel absolutely terrified of this realization, and I cannot believe just how lucky I have been in this situation. Should have gone and tried for the lottery that very same day, although this failing on the ground is pretty much winning the lottery. Once I got my bearings after the shock of all of this, I removed the 12-volt regulator from the plane. I plugged everything directly to the 6S battery, as all of this can now operate directly from 24 volts. And as for the servos, since I now have a hopefully high quality and high reliability T-Motor ESC with exceptional cooling, I set its back output to 6 volts and plugged it in to provide power for the servos. So basically, I removed 2 failure points from the plane, in essence making it more reliable than ever before. Now for all to fail, it will take a complete battery collapse. Else a single component might stop working on its own, but it will have no effect on anything else, though I hope there will be no more failures from here on out. I have already had a couple of flights with this new setup. One was the actual optical fiber HDMI cable test, which showed that even though it still messed with the radio signal a little bit, it created a lot less interference than the regular HDMI cables I tried before that. The other flight was the kite ground control introduction and in-flight showcasing. The plane performed perfectly in every flight. I do hope it will keep doing so in the future. So guys, go over the wiring of your machines, consider what really needs to be there and what is too much and adds unnecessary complexity and failure points, and try to make them more reliable. I hope this experience of mine would serve as an example how something so simple, a $3 LC filter, could have destroyed an $11,000 drone, and literally for no good reason. There was no good reason it should have been there, since modern day equipment is properly designed and built and has all the filtering it needs already built in. On that bombshell, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. If you haven't already, do subscribe and hit the bell so you can be notified when new things get published. Like the video if you like the video, share it around so more people can be warned of what could happen. And a huge thank you to all my YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and anyone who has and still is supporting this channel. Fly safe, and I will see you in the next one.